complete birth. Now, it happened that actually the doctor was trying to get the child revived into life. He was trying his best. He was plunging the baby into hot water and then in cold water. He was giving artificial, breathing to it, but all these did not work. Ultimately, he felt that he had been beaten because nothing is going to work, and he knew that no, he could not revive the child into life. Such was the case. Then what happened? When he had left his hope of reviving the child into life, page number 69. And then, as by a miracle, the pygmy chest, which his hands enclosed, gave a short convulsive heave, another and another, Andrew turned giddy. Now, and then, by a miracle, miracle means that cannot be explained rationally. By miracle, the pygmy chest, the pygmy means very small, that his fingers enclosed, which his hands enclosed, gave a short convulsive heave, that from that chest, heave means a pull. He actually realized a pull was there, and another, and another. And Andrew turned giddy, and the sensation of life that had come into the baby, actually it made Andrew giddy. Giddy means as if he is having a whirling sensation. The sense of life springing beneath his fingers after all that unavailing striving was so exquisite it almost made him faint. The sense of life means ultimately the baby had come into its life. So the sense of life springing, it has started beneath his fingers. He was holding the baby with his fingers. Beneath his fingers, after all that unavailing striving means his effort. He was giving mountainable effort to bring the baby back into life. Was so exquisite. Exquisite means so beautiful. The feeling was so beautiful that it almost made him faint. That really, it almost made him faint. He was going to faint because of that excessive beautiful result that he even did not expect, because he had almost left all his hope of reviving the child. He redoubled his efforts feverishly, and now he was redoubling his effort feverishly, he was giving all his effort to make the child cry. The child was gasping now. Gasping means panting. The child was breathing now, deeper and deeper. Something like this. A bubble of mucus came from one tiny nostril, a joyful, iridescent bubble. Now, a bubble came from its tiny nostril, and the bubble was joyful, iridescent. Iridescent means colorful. How the bubble becomes colorful? Now, when the bubbles came through that nostril, you should know that the sunlight is coming through the broken edges of that of the window, and of the blind of the windows, and because of that sunlight, the sunlight was reflected in that bubble, and it becomes iridescent, colorful, and it was joyful. Now, the bubble itself was not joyful. The mental condition of the doctor was joyful. The doctor himself was joyful. And it has been stated as joyful iridescent bubble. Iridescent means colorful, different colors. If you see from different angle, you can see different colors. As the sunlight was reflected in the bubble, it becomes iridescent. The limbs were no longer boneless. At first, it seemed boneless, just like a dead man. It was a dead child. The head no longer lay back spinelessly. The head was hanging loosely, but now it was no longer hanging spinelessly. The blanched skin was slowly turning pink. The blanched means here the whitish, just like a dead man. it was turning pink. Why not? Because the heartbeat had started. The heart has started. The heart of the baby had started pumping, and as it started pumping, blood circulation had started, and because of that blood circulation, all the body parts became pink. Then exquisitely came the child's cry, and ineffably beautifully. It was beautiful, ineffable beautiful, that he could not express the sense that really the child started to cry. Not only for Andrew Mashon, but all the doctors who helped the pregnant mother to deliver a baby, it was a great success for them when the baby comes, after coming out from mother's womb, when the baby starts to cry. This is the success of that doctor. So here also, ultimately the doctor got his success when the baby started to cry. Dear Father in heaven, the nurse sobbed hysterically. The nurse who implored the doctor earlier that it's a dead child, doctor, what you are doing? But the nurse also now realized that the child had come, the child had been revived, the child had come back into life, and he was giving thanks to the Almighty. Here, dear Father in heaven, it has come alive. And the nurse was telling, and he was telling hysterically. He could not control his emotion. She could not control her emotion, and she was telling that it has come into life. She was giving thanks to God. Andrew handed her the child, and Andrew had given the child to the nurse. He felt weak and dazed. He was very weak. Why not? For almost 2 nights, he did not have any sleep. He did not have any sleep. So he felt weak and dazed. That means frustrated. That means he is very much tired, as if confused. About him, the room lay in a shattering litter: blankets, towels, basins, soiled instruments, the hypodermic syringe impaled by its point in the linoleum, the ewer knocked over, the kettle on its side in a puddle of water. This was the condition of the room. Question may come, what was the condition of the room when the doctor saw after the baby had been revived? This was the condition. That the room was about a shuddering. Literal means become very dirty. Blankets, towels, basins, soiled instruments. The instruments got soiled, as become wet. The hypodermic syringe. Hypodermic syringe means the syringe which is used, the syringe with a needle having a hole in its tip. This is hypodermic syringe, impaled its point, and after giving after giving injection to the mother, he had thrown the the syringe, and it had got into the linoleum. Linoleum means the carpet. Here, the carpet with which the material of the carpet. So it has stuck into that linoleum in that carpet, and it was impaled by its point. The ewer knocked over, the jug was knocked over, the kettle on its one side, a puddle of water, and the kettle was there. Extra water had come out of that kettle. It was also there on one side. Upon the huddled bed, and on the bed also, the mother still dreamed her way quietly through the anesthetic. The mother, though she had come out of the critical condition, but still the mother did not come to her sense. Still she was in a dreamy state, senseless state the mother was in because of that anesthetic. The old woman, the mother of Susan Morgan, the old woman, still stood against the wall, that we know throughout that process when the doctor was giving the effort to revive the baby. The mother was there against the wall. Still the mother was there, and the old woman still stood against the wall, but her hands were together, her lips moved without sound. She was praying. And also that last we discussed that the old woman was standing against the wall by his hand pressed in her throat, but now she was the old woman still stood by, her hands were together and her lips moved without sound. She was praying, the mother was praying, and she was giving thanks to God as well. Mechanically, now emotionally, the doctor was emotional, the doctor controlled his emotion. Now mechanically, Andrew wrung out his sleeve, pulled his jacket, wrung out his means unfolded his sleeves, and he wore his jacket. I will fetch my bag later, nurse. And he told the nurse that he would fetch me his bring, that he had taken his bag, and he told that I would take it later. He went downstairs through the kitchen into the scullery. What is scullery? A room where washing dishes and for similar work. He went downstairs because he knew the baby had come, the baby had been revived, the baby had come into his life. Mother would come out from her semi-senseless state in few minutes. So everything was okay. So the doctor went downstairs and he went straight to the kitchen into the scullery. Scullery means where washes dishes. And his lips were dry. And for these last 1 or 2 hours, he had been trying his best. He had given all his effort to revive the child, so he was very tired. And his lips were dry. At the scullery, he took a long drink of water and he drank lots of water there. He reached for his hat and coat, and he had taken hat and coat, but he told the nurse that he would take back his bag later. Outside, he found Joe standing on the pavement with a tense, expectant face. Now, outside, he found Joe standing. Outside, he found Joe, the father, the worried father, standing on the pavement. So, the father actually spent the whole night outside the house. The father was so tense that he could not enter the house. And to meet the father on the pavement with a tense, expectant face. Expectant means he was expecting something. All right, Joe, he said thickly. Both all right. So doctor told, here thickly means proudly. The doctor told the father proudly, with dignified tone, with dignity. All right, Joe. Both all right. Now the doctor told this because the doctor promised the worried would-be father that everything would be right. And now it is, everything was right. But the way he made it possible, we the readers only know. And these two women also knew. The old woman and the midwife knew this. But and apart from these two women, we the readers know that how he made it possible. But he did not explain anything to the worried father, Joe, and he only told, all right, both are right. It was quite light, nearly 5 o'clock in the morning. It's nearly 5 o'clock. It was quite light outside. A few miners were already in the street. The first of the night shift moving out. Night shift has completed, so the miners are coming out. After completion of their tenure, after completion of their time. As Andrew walked with them, spent and slow, and Andrew also walked with the miners. Spent means he was totally exhausted, and slow, he was very slow. His footfalls echoing with the others under the morning sky, and under the morning sky, his footfalls also mixed with the other miners. He kept thinking blankly. He was thinking that what have I done? What have I done so far? Obvious to all the other work he had done in Blaney, and really, he was thinking that what he had done for the last 1.5 hours, 2 hours, he had made almost impossible a possible. I have done something, oh God, I have done something real at last. This is the expression of the satisfied doctor, because we know that how much he had given his effort to revive the baby, and ultimately he was successful in reviving the baby, and he was giving all his thanks to the Almighty. I have done something, oh God, I have done something real at last. He had given these thanks to God by telling this. So that is the end of this story. I feel you have understood. It's a very nice one. The way it had been described, really, it's awesome. The description, the effort of the doctor, how he had done all this. Now come to the question. I told when I just described these, I come to the question that I have done something. I have done something, oh God, I have done something real at last. Why does Andrew say this? Why does it mean? We should discuss it. Why does Andrew